Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters. I'm Deplorable Knitter, and I'm joined, as always, by the lovely Pinkava. And today, I am sure we are going to get into the election stuff a little, because it's hard to avoid. But we both have projects, too, to talk about. So there is knitting in the forecast.
Some knitting, some knitting. But
knitting.
It should be stated that we're filming this on Friday morning. So even as much as tomorrow, there may be more things going on.
Yeah. We unfortunately, I need time to edit and things, so we have to have a little bit of lead time between recording and posting. It just
right.
Sleep and the kids need to eat, and I got stuff to do. Go figure.
What? Yeah, but it's this weird limbo in between of it feels like it could draw on forever, but at any time something major could happen.
Yeah, so. I'm still totally in the camp though that they are calling stuff for Biden to make it look less legitimate when the Trump team puts their legal actions through. Mm-hmm. That's really my thing. And I don't know if we want to do this first or if we want to do knitting, but I have forsaken Fox News because they are worse than some of the other channels.
They are bad.
There are channels that have not yet Arizona, and Fox has had it for days. And I just think that it's irresponsible, and it's really disconcerting that a channel that everybody has loved for so long and has been a true voice of reason. And I mean, you can get both sides on that. You really can.
Right.
But all of a sudden on election night, they had Donna Brazile and Juan Williams and Chris Wallace, all Biden's. Like,
yeah,
come on. We watch you because we don't care. We don't want to see that crap.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, exception in Tucker Carlson, of course, because we all love Tucker.
Because Tucker is fabulous, and that's just how it is. But I actually subscribed to One America News this week.
Wow.
So I'm trying that out. I haven't had enough time to really sit down and watch it, so I can't tell you how I feel about it yet. But.
Right. Well, for other news sources, I think I've mentioned before that Sky News Australia on YouTube, so good. Which is surprising that they're surprised. I mean, I think Sky News is like in its base that it's a lot of the same things. I think it's the same funding, same parent company as Fox, but for some reason the Australians are allowed more leeway to talk about conservative American politics, whether or not they have that leeway in Australian politics is kind of iffy. It's kind of like how the Daily Mail is a fairly liberal paper, but it has more it reports better on some things in America than the American papers. Like they were the first people to have the George Floyd body cam and stuff like that. So
really,
yeah,
that's very interesting. So, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. And also, I need to get my own subscription to the Epic Times because I've been bumming off my parents, visiting them. I'm like, oh, hi, guys. Oh, I'm reading your paper now. So good to see you. Flips open the newspaper.
I'm so glad to be here with you guys. Now ignore me for the next hour while I read this paper.
Right. Excuse me. I have to know what's happening in the Chinese-Indian-Tibet conflict. So if you could just pause a little bit, I'll be right back. But yeah, the Epic Times really is a pretty solid paper and pretty anti-Chinese communist, because a lot of the people who founded the paper are Chinese leaving China, and then they founded the paper. So yeah, they have a bone to pick. They're really fired up about that, which is excellent because that's a lot of our problems. But they actually have like on the ground, like you've mentioned Elijah Schaefer before, and covering the riots. And he says that he's talking to a reporter from the Epic Times who is also, on the ground and figuring out what's going on. So
yeah. Well, that's interesting. And but I have to say, with Fox News and their election coverage this cycle, I'm just so disappointed. And I was reading an article. I don't remember who is running their decision desk, but whomever it is, it's a person that is a Democrat who is strongly Biden leading, and it's showing. It is showing in what they're doing, and it's really, I'm not impressed at all.
Yeah. I was watching a clip, and it was Brett Baer election coverage, and Tucker Carlson was coming on as the guest, and they were chatting a little bit back and forth. But Brett Baer, who I generally like, said projected election results, and Instagram and Facebook and probably YouTube have said projected election results. Projected election results mean nothing, and if it comes out of your mouth, I'm just going to discount you right there, because you can have a projected winner saying that you have a majority of votes enough that would overshadow the amount of votes that are left in counting. But projected election results mean nothing. They mean nothing at all. And stop using this word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
But I think for the most part, Fox News has just been super irresponsible in their reporting, and I'm over it. I'm really over it. I'm not going to do that. And my husband, who is so into like the news and politics and stuff, he hasn't watched it in days. He did watch OAN with me. When we put it on the first day, we did watch a little bit of that together, but he has not been doing anything because he's so disgusted by everything that's happening. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way right now, because it's a disturbing state of affairs at the moment. It's really messed up. So every time I go to sleep, I wake up and Biden has a bigger lead somewhere, and it just seems so fishy to me. All day long, they can count. Oh, but when everybody's sleeping, all of a sudden, ballots are everywhere. Yeah. You get one, I get one. We all get them. Ballots.
Hear the Babylon Bee. Miracle, 5 Biden votes turn into 5,000.
Like, I didn't know Jesus was helping with this.
Like, what? And then, and then you're listening, I'm listening to all these different commenters, and it's becoming like the late night PBS pledge drive. Like, I was watching Charlie Kirk last night, and it was supposed to be solid results coming out of Arizona, and he had only got 2 hours of sleep, no food all day, and he was still like broadcasting at 12 o'clock at night, and he's like, yeah, we're going to go further, we're going to do this, and he's talking with the guy, and it was like they had to fill airtime because no results were actually coming in. So it's like the repeat of what's going on in Arizona and back and forth and everything. It's just like, Charlie, my man, go to bed. You're going to need the sleep because this is a long, hard thing. And,
this is not going to be resolved anytime soon.
Right. And, the day after election where you had, Crowder was up until all hours of the night. So I'm like, going to bed. And, next morning he's at it again. Like, oh, buddy, again, you're going to need your sleep. But yeah, the walkaway people are out there and still out doing the thing. Don Jr. is not going to stop for anything. And I love some people said when Trump came out, it'd be yesterday, Thursday, and he had a speech like, well, he looks tired. He looks a little defeated. Okay, it's been a long, hard day for everybody. But also, Trump, he comes out, he says the facts, he's clearly upset, but you got to keep your tone down, I think is what it is. That people say he isn't presidential. Well, I think he understands that in this moment, as the president, he can't be the one who is out there, yelling about these.
Right. Causing a ruckus and crazy and stuff, because then people are going to be like, oh, look at the crazy man stealing the election.
Right, that, and then people were shouting at him afterwards, about him being a sore loser or something. I'm like, I'm sorry, over 130,000 votes for Biden, not a single one for Trump. That's suspicious. That's not like, oh, you're a sore loser. And I've seen some liberal people post like, oh, well, he's just saying that mail-in voting isn't a thing. So, and he's only saying that because it's not going his way. Yeah, you're not looking at the numbers.
No. But and in those races too, where Biden's getting all of the votes, they're not going down ballot or whatever. So he's getting 130,000 votes, but the Senate race and stuff didn't go up by 130,000 votes. So that's also not normal. I'm sure some people don't vote for those positions. It's not like it's impossible that they didn't vote. Some didn't vote for it, but 130,000 people all in one night. Oh, and not a single one of them voted for Trump in all of those.
Right.
Like,
They didn't.
If you're gonna mess up the numbers, like throw a few to the other guys so it's less obvious.
Right. You know, like pick a random one every 10 or 12 or 6. You know, just to mix it up.
Yeah. Throw a few in.
And it has been mentioned how suspicious it is that, again, you were able to call the Senate and the House races and the ballot measures quickly, but you're not able to call the president. That's so weird. But for all of that, you know, Don Jr. can be the one out there yelling about it. You're like, thank you, Don.
Don Jr.
Thank goodness.
I'm pretty sure it's Don Jr. that's been calling out the rhinos.
Oh, yeah.
Saying, oh, yeah, he campaigned for you. He's taking care of you. And now where are you? Like, I heard Lindsey Graham stepped up to help, which good, because somebody needs to be. But, you know, Nikki Haley, they were tweeting at Nikki Haley, and finally she said something about it. But it was after, like, a few people were calling her out on it. And it's just, once again, this is the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. The Democrats have their game plan. They have their playlist. They all stick to their playlist. The Republicans are kind of out for themselves. Like, yeah, we have a common goal, but we're not as unified as the Democrats. Like I said, you know, they got Pelosi, they got AOC, and they're doing what the people say. And that's part of our issue, for sure.
Yeah, they're less team players. Though, speaking of Democrats, and to pause for a second, somebody commented last week, it's a knitting podcast. Why are you talking politics first? I'm like, it's election season and it's a knitting and political podcast. So let's not, knitting will come. We have that.
We have knitting. We enjoy knitting. We both design patterns, but this is kind of a big deal, people.
This is a bit of a big deal. But there was a post-election Democratic phone call that was leaked. I don't know if you heard this.
Oh, I did not.
Oh, so there's screaming, there's crying, there's Nancy Pelosi saying that she had a mandate. There's Democrats who either almost lost their seats or did lose their seats, saying that we can't say socialism anymore, that we have to get back to core principles, and the riots and everything else hurt us. And I'm like, whoa. And then they were yelling more because they were being leaked so quickly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's amazing how we haven't heard it. See, now that's something I would usually hear about on Fox News. Where could it be?
I think even The Hill mentioned it here. Because I saved the link. The House Democrat Caucus's post-election conference call was leaked. And let's see, Spanberg on Democratic caucus call, we lost races we shouldn't have lost. Defund the police almost cost me my race because of an attack ad. Don't say socialism ever again. Need to get back to basics, and is yelling while saying this. This is a tweet by Erica Werner. Let's see. Also, Erica Werner, early in the call, Debbie Maskell Powell, who lost her race, was crying, mentioned how people can't pronounce her name, and said stop being negative on Twitter.
Funny.
But anyways, I'm sure that there's more by other sources. The Hill said Democrats post-election, quote, family meeting descends into chaos. So...
Well, it's good to know that we at least ruffled them some. I mean,
yeah, and
I think that they're all in on the socialism thing, and yeah, we've got the segment that they've managed to brainwash through schooling and all of that stuff, but there's also the segment that works and lives and says, I don't want to pay 60% of my income in taxes and things like that, and they need to realize that.
Yeah, and sort of like, okay, during these things, okay, and calm down, if this is messed up somehow. And well, that's one of the things. So if Biden, quote, wins fraudulently, boy howdy, you think everyone's going to go quietly into the night? No, there's so much anger about this. And again, that is America totally flipping into banana republic. I know that word's been tossed around a lot, but you can't have fraudulent elections and then think that America is just going to be bright sunshine and happy and we're all going to get along and come together under that. Like, that's not how. And cheating doesn't create happiness.
No, it does not. And I've seen a ton of people comparing this current election, and especially the way that votes are just popping up, like just randomly while we're sleeping, and comparing it to Chavez and how elections are won in other countries. Mm-hmm. And so that's disturbing. And if Biden wins fair and square, I am not going to be pleased. But if he wins fair and square, he has won. But if he wins because of all of this shit, you can bet that people are going to they're not just going to lay down and take it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you mentioned, okay, so in Australia, there was a picture of people watching the poll workers count ballots. You want to know where they were standing? They were standing right here over their shoulders, one on each side.
Right.
That's how it should be observed. It should not be this, oh, in Detroit, we're boarding up the windows and we're not letting people in.
Right.
Why?
Oh,
why? What are you hiding?
Right. You have to stand, in some places over 12 feet away. But yeah, you're really going to see what's happening, little bubbles, and what people are doing and why they're throwing it out, or, yeah.
Yeah. No, I've seen videos of election workers filling in bubbles while they're counting. Mm-hmm. Well, what is that? Why aren't these people being prosecuted? The lady who went and there's videos of this, Raquel Rodriguez, I think her name was, who went and was giving gifts to people and telling them how to write on their ballots, and she was ballot harvesting. Mm-hmm. And she was telling the people that she was getting the ballots from how to vote for Biden.
Right.
Why is she not in prison? Why is she not already arrested? What is going on that this is okay?
Right. And yeah, and you have people checking voter registrations of dead people saying like, woohoo, you voted. People who are checking their own ballots and finding that they didn't go through.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There was a story of a person who was born in 1823 who voted. Okay. So if people are wondering why we are getting all Twitter-pated about this, it's because that shit is happening. Right. So much of it. People in the 1900s, some dude that died in 1984, his family said that he had voted in this election. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, at least try to be sneaky about it, guys.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be registering dead people, don't register the guy from 1823. That's just obvious. God.
Nah, I'm sure that paperwork's still good.
Dude, that should be a news story if that guy really voted. Because holy mackerel, he's got some stuff to tell us about. I mean, he was through the Civil War.
Exactly.
We should know about him. It's ridiculous.
Vampires for Biden 2020.
Hey, maybe he likes Trump better. I mean, Trump is like Abe Lincoln. That's his era.
Maybe.
No, if he voted Democrat, you know that.
Of course he did. Tradition is the vote of the dead, said Chesterton. Does not apply here. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so worked up about this. I just
no, it's
can't
okay. No, and I think everyone's worked up about it, and I think that there's a sort of bet on people are going to be so worked up about it, they're just going to want it to be over. And I'm worried that is going to be a push for, just wrap it up. And like I was beginning to say before, but then I got distracted and everything else.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But, it's okay. I distracted myself first. You had things to say, definitely. But the, thinking like, okay, well, if something happens and Biden becomes president, we survived Obama. and hopefully we'd survive Biden, and we have a more together Trump base, and you have like 68 million people, and okay, all that would be good. And then it's Biden tweets that, and then I'm going to rejoin the Paris Climate Accords in the first 100 days. And it's just like flip table. Like, actually, no, we're not, because we're not going to give all of our energy to Iran. Like,
right. But
lots of election shenanigans.
That's a great word for it.
Yeah.
And you're right. The people might be getting sick of it. And so I can see that like whole election fatigue thing, and people just being like, we want to be done. It's over, whatever. And we can't get exhausted of it. We have to stay up with it. We have to, because they will steal it, and it won't be like when Obama was president. It's going to be worse. I mean, like I said, at least we have the firewall of the Senate still. But
right. But the long knives are definitely out.
Exactly. Do you have anything else about the election that you are? Oh, I had one thing I did want to say, not on the topic of the election specifically, but in Oregon, did you hear about what they passed for their drug addicts? That they're not going to send people to prison. They decriminalized like crack and heroin and meth and stuff.
Right.
And an overwhelming number of people voted for it. But they touted it as like a treatment kind of thing, or
right, that they're going to send people to rehab instead of sending them to jail, and
but they didn't provide any more beds. So now you're just allowed to do drugs and not be in trouble for it. And so guess what's coming, rest of the country? What nonsense.
Are they going to give you like a waiting line ticket for rehab? Like the illegal immigrants should come in like the illegal immigrants will come to their court dates when they're arrested and released again. You know, like by the way, you're in line for a rehab center. Nice. How many drugs can I do in the meantime? All of them.
Yes, all of them. And hey, you don't even have to go to rehab, but here, we're going to give you this card. And you can call if you feel like it. I think most drug addicts are like not interested in that. I think that they have other priorities, like which drugs. Is not calling the rehab center.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's awesome. That's the way the country's going. So that's I'm feeling super stoked.
Well, I already talked about marijuana in South Dakota. I'm like, yay! I love eating away at the moral foundation of my state. Bonzer. Like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm really.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know what we're gonna do. But
let's talk about knitting, because in the words of the illustrious Elizabeth Zimmerman, knit on with confidence and hope through all crises.
That is right. Liz knew what she was saying.
So would you enjoy talking about your fabulous knitting first?
Sure.
Okay.
I will go. So first of all, I finished my test knit for United Kingdom, and it's nice. It's really nice. Actually, it's a little big. I will have to mention that, but it is like the ultimate cushy slacker hat. Like, this is great. I've been using this already.
Yeah, no, it looks really snuggly.
Like, Tim Pool better watch out. So, you don't know Tim Pool? Sorry,
I know Tim Pool, but why is he gotta watch out for your hat?
Because he always wears the beanie, because he's a hipster.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I'm slow, sorry.
It's okay. It's been a day already. But yeah, it is really, really nice. So I'm excited about this. So yeah, that's good. And my hair is all floofy. Excuse me.
Well, that's what happens when you put the hat on and then take it off.
But yeah, so I'm excited. And as I said, okay, so I said it was a bit long. But when I say it's a bit long, I mean, it's a bit long. Right. But it is knitted sideways, which is quite interesting and nice. So it stretches differently and everything. So.
And is that something that you could also wear, like slouchy? Like you're wearing it as a full down beanie, but it's also got the ability to be like a slouch.
Yeah.
I can't wear those things. They look stupid, but.
Yeah. So I guess I could have slouched it more and been that person. But I'm not very good at that. anyways, so that's cool. And in addition, I've been working on Hong Kong scarf again. And you're like, Anne, but you already made those and you should be done with this pattern. Believe me, I know.
I can't say anything. That stained glass diamonds pattern that I put out, I originally wrote it in February of 2019. It got released in October of 2020. So I am not one to say anything. Don't worry.
There you go. But yeah, so I'm doing it. Before it was a size 6 needles, now I'm going down to a size 3. The other one is wider and more drapey. But yeah, I've been favoring the size 3 lately. So I think this is a more reason. I think more people would wear a scarf of this size. And if you want bigger, just do bigger needle sizes. It's a scarf. Do what you like. But yeah, so finally, my flower is good. Everything's fine. I think my pattern's together. I'm going to send it out to test, hopefully for real this time. So
hopefully. And God bless you, because there's no way ever I would knit a hat or a scarf on size 3 needles, but go for it. Good for you.
You know, you gotta. Sometimes you
just... No, yeah. I don't have the rest of my life to knit a scarf. I got other stuff to do.
Well, the majority of this is just broken rib. That's why, I mean, pretty much I only needed to get this far to get my pattern, ironed out. I will continue because, I mean, the other one is for the craft museum, and I actually want one of these scarves to wear on my own. So I don't want to be like, oh, well, I can't wear the scarf. I might get it dirty and it has to hang up somewhere so people can see it sometimes. I'm like, yeah, now I have a Hong Kong scarf for me. Other people might want them too. So I might I might be married to this project. I'm married to most of my projects, but I might be married to this one, making several. But
good luck with that.
Yeah. For gifts, we can all walk around and fetching red scarves. Christmas is coming. Time for a little...
Christmas is coming, and therefore I will not be knitting things on size 3 needles because I have stuff to do. And the difference between you and I is just, it's funny sometimes.
Most Christmases, I probably won't be doing it this year. I'll have to take it down. But most Christmases, I'm, knitting superhero themed Christmas stockings and knit beanies. So yeah, size 3 needles? Nah, I normally go down to size 2. What are you talking about?
Well, you are a better woman than I, because I don't even know if I own size 2 needles. Maybe I do, because I got that bag of supplies from my father-in-law, and it was somebody's collection. So it's possible I have size 2 needles. I can't vouch for it, though. So that's where I stand on the whole thing.
See, I still think one of these days, sock knitting will get you. I think one day you'll be walking around,
I would need
everything's
a lot
good.
more time. A lot more time. And right now, I mean, there's just not enough time in the day. I had mentioned earlier or in a previous episode, that I've had some family stuff going on. My mother-in-law is having surgery in a little bit more than a week. And then with the homeschooling, I have to write my first quarterly report for my kids.
Wow.
I have to write it and send it to the school district. So hopefully that'll work out.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've never done that before. And I never work very much in the winter because I do a lot of seasonal work.
Right.
Out the years, I have so much work. It's everywhere. I can't even, because of course I have other things going on. So of course. That's how it goes, and that's okay. I'm not complaining. But
definitely. So, with what time you have, what have you been working on?
So, Knitting McPurley made the mistake of telling me not to worry about getting my sweater done that quickly. So, it's still not done. Can you see it? So, it's beautiful. I love it. It's got sleeves. The ends about pretty. The elbows. If I were knitting it to her pattern specifications, it would be at the length where I would put the ribbing on the bottom, but because I don't wear crop sweaters, it needs like 5 more inches. Right. So it's in progress still, but it looks fabulous. Nice. And somebody asked me if I have tried it on, which I have not. And I swatched, but I didn't wet block my swatch. So if this doesn't fit me, guess what my mom is getting for Christmas? Because she's about a size smaller than I am. So, because if it's too big, I'll wear it. I don't care.
Right.
I like the boxy, cozy, whatever. But so I've been doing my Knitting McPurley, and then I have been working on this. I'm stuck. So I'm working on this crocheted blanket. This is a crocheted linen stitch, which looks quite similar to a knitted linen stitch, except it's way faster.
Nice.
But this is going to be a Christmas gift. And it's not any pattern. It's just, like I said, it's just the crocheted linen stitch. So,
right.
But it's beautiful. And I think I'm using a bigger needle size than the yarn calls for, because everything that I read said that this is quite a dense fabric, but mine's pretty drapey. So I think that it's because I've decided to make it a little bit more loosey-goosey. So that's what I've been doing. And I've got to get on my Christmas knitting now. Like, all of a sudden, it's that time. I don't understand how this happens every year. Right. That's what I have. I haven't been doing anything since the election. I've been really like in a funk.
I know.
I've been playing Bubble Pop on my Kindle a lot, actually. That's been like the one thing that I've been like, oh, I want to do that. Everything else is kind of like, oh, I don't want to watch the news. I don't want to knit. I don't want to.
I know. I was texting back and forth with a friend of mine, and we were both talking about can't get anything done, so stressed about election. But she, in times of crisis, we quote Henry V to each other because we're that kind of horrible nerds. But don't worry, we're not totally pretentious. We mostly saw it because Tom Hiddleston was in it. But it is really good, though. Go out and watch Henry V. You'll feel better. Genuinely. Hollow Crown, Tom Hiddleston, good time. But, leather jacket, really nice. But also great speeches, very clever, not just fangirling. But so you have the Battle of Agincourt, which was a big anniversary of that recently. And, you have Tom Hiddleston as King Henry, and he's covered in mud and blood and everything else. And the herald comes from the other side. And, he is ticked and, says, tell me truly, Harold, is the day ours or not? Because, he can't tell. And the herald's just he says, no, you won the battle. And it's just like this huge sigh of relief. Just this, all right, to God be the glory and not ourselves. And then they go on with everything else. But it's just it's the moment of tension, but it's a moment of tension for days that nobody knows who's won, if we've won, if we haven't won. We can't even move forward with losing until we know. And a lot of stress.
Well, I think that it's going to drag out. And so we need to kind of hunker down and be ready for the long haul and continue on with our life. Now that it's, seriously, I feel better since I've stopped watching Fox News, which I never thought I would say. But honestly, they've been my preferred news source for many years. And I'm just really surprised at how horrible they are making it. It just seems so strange to me.
It's bad. And again, to reiterate, what I like about the Epic Times, it's a newspaper. It comes 2 or 3 times a week. I think 3 times a week. So, and that all of the important news will be in the newspaper. And while there might be something coming a little faster than that, it's like, while you look at other news sources at your leisure, know that all of the prime news that you need is right here in paper form, and you can flip and then you can close it and then you're done. It's really nice. And
it's funny that you say that, because when I was pregnant with my second child, I got so anxious. I was pregnant with them during Obama's second term. Okay. So
howdy.
Yeah, and I was watching a lot of news, and there was a lot of horrible things going on in the Middle East and ISIS, and I was on the phone with my mom one day, and I'm like, I just can't take it. I can't believe I'm having kids with all of this stuff going on. And, you know, I was kind of flipping out, and she's like, turn off the news.
And
so I think there's a healthy balance between, like, you want to stay informed, you want to know what's going on, but don't make it your whole life. Because, like Elizabeth Zimmerman said, knitting can get you through everything. Find something else. If you don't have your knit mojo, find something else that will make you calm and isn't going to cause extra stress on your life, because this is going to happen for a while. I mean, with the courts and the recounting and it's not going to be this week. It's probably not going to be next week. It's probably not going to be for a while.
So, all that being said, make time for something worthwhile. Get some rest. Keep a weather eye on the horizon.
Yeah, exactly. And make sure to join us next time. We will have more knitting, hopefully, and I'm sure that there will be more politics to go over. So,
yeah.
It'll be something. But like, comment, subscribe. We will see you guys next week.
All right. And to steal Mark Stein's catchphrase, stay safe, stay free. All right.
All right. See you guys. Bye.